Good evening to all the students, to all the working professionals who have joined us this evening, wanting to know more about careers in sports management. My name is Abhijit Dabhade. I am somebody from education, spent more than 20 years in the field of education management, and have been in the sports education in particular for the last few years, for almost 7 years, ran different programs, conceptualized sports assessments as well, and have been enjoying this field of managing and developing careers of students in sport management. With me is my esteemed industry colleague, Mr. Jitendra Joshi. Maybe you would like to.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session on careers in sports management. I am Jitendra Joshi. I've spent about 20 years in sports. Worked with some of the marquee brands. Had the opportunity to work with some of the leagues that have been executed in India. Happy to be here and happy to share my experience and happy to share my views on what could be the potential career options for new students out there.
First things first, we will paint a picture, a realistic picture of what sports industry looks like today and maybe in near to medium future. Okay, all of us know perhaps that long term we should not think much and we should not think a bit short term. Okay, COVID has taught us not to go too long and not to look too short. Maybe we're trying to balance it in that way. And then we will come to what should be your approach? Are there any myths regarding career in sports management and the allied fields? Then we will look into what are those different functional areas, roles and responsibilities, job growth and salaries that are possible. And finally, if you're looking to get educated in this, then what are those core knowledge and skills areas that you should focus on becoming a successful professional in the field of sports management. So, if I can, Jitu, if we could discuss that. Sports industry in India, they say, is emerging, is a sunrise sector, but opening comments, IPL is now 50,000 crore.
Yeah.
What does it mean actually on the ground?
See, great point, and so excited to see the growth of media rights of IPL. It just augurs well for the entire sports industry. Overall, sports industry, I think the inflection point was IPL way back in 2008, when the amount of media rights that we got and the way the leagues have sprung up after that has been phenomenal. And also, so one part is the sports is growing at a phenomenal pace. The leagues are springing up. We know that the amateur sports in the country is growing at a great pace, which is manifested with the number of marathons that we see, the number of large-scale sporting events that we see. The growth of Esports is happening at a phenomenal pace, even including fantasy sport, right? So the overall, if you ask me today, when we started sports way back in 2003, it was way different than it is today. And I'm very excited to see the growth. And also, just to give you some perspective, in India today, the GDP, the sports sector is about 0.1% of the GDP.
So basically, you're saying that sports sector today, with all the activities or professional businesses put together that can be termed as
sports industry
and industrial activity, they are contributing only 0.1% of GDP.
Yes,
of India.
All right. And if you look at Western world, typically it is anywhere from 3 to 5% of the GDP. Sports sector contributes 3 to 5%.
Intensity of participation of people right from amateur level
to professional sports.
Yes. And of course the other activities that come in the gamut of sports management.
Yes. So the opportunity, the growth opportunity over next 15 to 20 years is phenomenal.
I was reading about this, and when you said about esports and when you spoke about fantasy gaming, one of the latest figures that is coming out in fantasy gaming is that by 2025, while today it is 34,000 crore, Indian currency 34,000 crore, and in 2025 it is expected to be 1.65 lakh crore. So look at the gamut of the whole sports sector or industry as such. Industry is a word probably we'll have to use it a little hesitatingly, because please bear in mind, according to the government of India, sports is not yet given the industry status. However, if you look at the whole gamut, so we're talking about here sports leagues,
amateur sports, esports, sports technology, every aspect, there is a phenomenal growth, and it's manifested by what we are seeing on the ground.
Wow. So esports is somewhere around 1100 crore expected, and the last figure that I knew was 9 million viewers of esports, dedicated esports in India. That is just fantastic. And if this is what the whole gamut of the sports industry is, can we then therefore look at a career? There are many youngsters today who have joined us wanting to know about it, but who should definitely look into this as a career option? Are there options for everyone with certain areas of interest? Are there any myths related to this? Due to your views?
See, again, I would say, since the product is sport, having a innate passion for sports is would be a great help. It would be extremely great to have a passion for sport, because that's what the sports management professional will be talking about, breathing about, discussing about. So passion for sports is one part, but is that enough? Probably not. There's a lot more to sports management, because you're not going to be in the field, you're going to be in the background working to make it happen. So therefore, passion for sports is one thing, but someone who is interested in a multitude of things, it could be marketing, it could be operations, it could be technology. So sports as a domain offers lots and lots of functional areas that you might be passionate about as well, right? And then you also have a third vector, which is, what is the purpose that what binds you, right? If it is entertainment, is it growth, development of sports? So there are purpose-led organizations as well. So if you can find your own intersection around sport, functional areas like marketing, operations, technology, and the purpose, if you can find your own intersection, I would say that would be a great start for anyone who aspires to be in sports management.
Absolutely. I quite agree with you that there is one is your passion or your deep interest that you have been perhaps watching a lot of games across different sports. You must be following certain celebrities. That is fine. Okay. In our experience, I think both of us put together, we've seen a lot of youngsters coming to us saying, I love watching football, I have been an ardent fan of cricket, etc. Or I play. But I think it's important that we understand that sports management, technology, or whatever areas just now that we mentioned to you, I think they are beyond just viewing or beyond playing.
Absolutely.
So anything beyond the 22 yards or the football pitch is
where the sports management will, these are some of the myths, as you rightly mentioned. A lot of students whom I interact with start with saying that I am the captain of the cricket. I was the captain of the under-19 cricket team. I play football regularly. I'm very passionate about the moment we asked about what is the domain you're interested in, a lot of people are stumped, and I think that's the clarity one needs to have. Whether sports is one part, but whether I'm interested, whether I would like to build a career in operations, marketing, technology. If you can think through that part, it will help. And I can guarantee you that you will definitely find that intersection between sports and the domain interest that you have. The myths around that, Abhijit, like you mentioned, that the opportunities in sports is only for boys. In one more myth, which is not true. In the organizations I work with, women are doing phenomenally well. Other myth is I'll get an opportunity to interact with celebrities all the time. Doesn't happen. Probably you'll get 1 or 2 chances, but mostly you'll be working in the background. That is one. Another myth is, while I'm in sports, I'll get a lot of opportunities to watch the game. And that's not going to happen. You are probably in the background putting up the banner or making sure that the security guys are there. So that reality has to be taken into cognizance when choosing sports career.
Yes, you're right. When you spoke about opportunities for men, women, I think in fact there is a growing demand of women to come into sports management and technology. And there are, I think somewhere on LinkedIn, I read that more than 25% of the top sports events and event companies today have close to 41% women employees. So, with this kind of figures and overall recreational sports, casual sports, amateur, the entire participation, right up to the league and professional, I think we have more and more people to explore opportunities. But the underlying interest of where you probably have your strength in, if you are a person interested in sports with a flair for technology, probably you have.
That's the intersection. And there are sports tech companies. There are companies who want this, guys who are interested in the intersection of sports and technology. Yeah.
Excellent. So, I think we discussed the nature of the industry. If we have to kind of give some kind of, want to spend 4 or 5 minutes into specifically what are those functions. So when we're talking about that sports industry is growing, right from sports, retail, technology, leagues, etc. What are those different areas where employment opportunities are there, or the roles and responsibilities that generally happen in any sports company?
Sure. I see a few people raising their hands. We will have a Q&A at the end. We will take up those questions in the end for sure. So talking about what are the roles and responsibilities, it ranges from when we say opportunities in operations, right? You have roles as an operations head, you have roles as a operations executive. In sports marketing, you can get into sports marketing, sales of sports, sports ticketing. In the roles of technology, guys are involved in sports tech managers. So across all the various domains, excuse me, you have these professionals involved.
So you mean that if we look at different departments of a sporting company, the way today either it's a small to medium or a large company that is emerging, that there is opportunity or jobs in sports sales or sports sponsorship, sports technology. It could be performance analysis, or it could be gaming or data analytics. Another very major area that is emerging, which all of you should take a note of, that data analytics is in sports is also becoming a bigger area of employment. Other than that, there are other like your broadcasting, sports science, coaching, medicine,
celebrity managers,
athlete management, celebrity management. So there are different small to medium to large companies where these roles and these opportunities exist. Excellent. So one probably at this point we should take with all the students is one of the very fundamental nature of sports industry, that while there are opportunities galore that are coming up in these areas that we mentioned to you, but I think one needs to be aware that sports industry, when you want to enter as a career option, and and if you're looking at developing yourself at a on a long-term basis, then you must understand that sports is I think a fantastic example of gig economy.
Sure.
Your views, because you have been involved in so many events and sports IPs throughout your career, and you would have seen the way gig economy, or so as to say freelancing, the way it has.
Yeah. So, but the nature of sports is event. So, lot of opportunities that are available in the sports sector are short term. Sometimes it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, sometimes it could be 12 months. And you will get a very short project or a short event, you will get a lot of great opportunities. When it comes to, for example, IPL, during that 4-month period, a lot of opportunities, job opportunities in the operations, marketing spring up. Not to say that there are not full-time jobs, there are, but the opportunity that you have in terms of short period, very interesting jobs are very high. And the way a lot of the specialist professionals, they move from IPL and then they move on to, let's say, a marathon, and then go back to let's say a Kabaddi league, and then come back to IPL. So they do these specialist jobs and build that. So that is at the higher level. At the entry level also, there are lots and lots of opportunities when it comes to big, doing small gigs, could be supervisory role, could be a monitoring role, and not just professional sports. This is true even in the amateur sports. With the scale of marathons that are happening, there are specialist guys who will say that I can manage, let's say, example, security in a marathon A. Happening in, let's say, Mumbai, then they would shift to Delhi, Calcutta. So those kind of roles are also phenomenally available.
So there is something interesting that is happening that we spoke about the growth and the gamut and the way this industry is going. There are different functional areas, starting with sports, sales, marketing, branding, technology, analysis, etc. So you, over a period of time, have to perhaps grow in what your interest area is, develop those necessary knowledge and skills that are, and be ready for the gig or freelancing purposes. Meaning, you will have to be ready for 2 months to 4 months to 6 months, depending on where you develop your interest and then thereafter your skills, so that you can continuously remain in demand. I think that was the point that we're trying to make, that once you identify, it's important that you understand that yes, large amount of opportunities are still or will remain as freelancing opportunities or gig, which may range from 2 months to 4 months to 6 months. Then there could be another full-time opportunities, again in the same set of companies or events that are
Absolutely.
And I think that also gives a lot of opportunity for youngsters to travel. Travel is cool. Travel is something that I think adds to a lot of your personality, your experience, culture, food, etc. Excellent. I think we should spend some time, Jitu, on what knowledge and skills perhaps is required. If we are talking about developing a career in these areas and wanting to remain employable with certain growth opportunities, I think that also we should also tell the audience about what kind of salaries exist in the field today.
I'll come to salaries, but you spoke about knowledge and skills. It is very important, to choose a program which has a phenomenal amount of skills development. So knowledge and skills. Program that gives you, opportunities for immediate employability is an important factor, and the learning can happen, but developing those skills which are directly sought after by the industry is very important. And this can be, through practical experience. The program that offers a lot of practical experience is very critical. Programs which have great internship programs that have got great the program itself has a lot of internships and part-time work involved, or practical experience, within the program itself would be of great help, because that helps the industry guys to be able to absorb the students, to be able to put on projects on an immediate basis. So critical skills, for example, learning how the brands think about branding in a sporting event. How does the costing work? So these are the very simple skills that can be developed.
All right. So here, there is something that I think as aspirants of this particular field of career, the youngsters should be also aware that, let me, for the sake of simplicity, divide it into core knowledge and core skills areas. So when we're talking about, when G2 was some time back talking about, and sorry, I think he's having a bad throat today, so he's coming in and out, but that's what sporting spirit is all about. So, being the Anil Kumble in the job, but yet not
Sorry guys on that.
So I think, for the sake of simplicity, let's divide it into core knowledge and skills. I have something to share with you today, that when we talk about skills, let me divide this into a few sections for you. When we talk about skills, it's a very generic used word, and then a lot of people are going to tell you that soft skills are important, or soft skills are not so important, or hard skills are not important. So I think once and for all, let's settle this. Let's understand. Okay, let's put it in buckets. So one is people skills. So your ability to work in a team environment. Absolutely critical. Communication skills, your ability to have good interpersonal skills. So one is your people skills. Irrespective of whichever field you choose, but I think people skills are something that you'll have to develop. And this is the time in your life to develop these skills. So choose program which have one, good orientation towards people skills. Second, I think there are work skills. So work skill bucket probably is the one that where you can work on analytical ability, work with numbers, work with data. I think those are some of the skills that are very critical in our observation. Maybe we want to share some example of how research, data kind of work skills apply in sporting.
All the time, we use data to create exciting marketing programs, to be able to understand what the marketing folks are talking about, and therefore tweak the marketing program, the sports program accordingly. So all these places we use data to take the right decisions.
Another critical area, and also as a career opportunity that is emerging, is sports media. But all companies also use the social media platform for various different purposes. And I think therefore the third bucket that we would like to introduce is the digital skills that you need to have a sound career foundation in this area. Another very interesting is your own personality, your own behavioral component. How you develop yourself as a resilient person. I think COVID brought this word resilience back, but I think sports is one of the fields which absolutely. So if you can share something on adaptability, resilience, that is very necessary for today to to aspirants to understand this as an important skill?
Yeah, it comes all the time. There are times when you will have to go through a tough time when an event is happening, and you will be required to deliver that program in spite of hundreds of hurdles that you will face. And that's where all these important behavioral skills that Abhijit is mentioning will be something that will be required. Therefore, choose program that has incorporated some of these behavioral aspects as a part of the program curriculum.
Excellent. And finally, coming to the core area of sports, so as you were mentioning that while then it's general management, but your ability to know accounting, costing, marketing, branding, and applying it. Therefore, the understanding of the way sports events work, the way sports operations work, the way a sports facility is managed and marketed.
Yeah.
So I think these knowledge areas play.
Yes, and this is where doing the internships or doing the practical event during the curriculum will definitely help in building these skills, albeit at a smaller scale. Nonetheless, you will get the fundamentals.
It's an idea, and at least whatever you're learning in the classroom, how
that gets applied.
Gets applied.
Yes, that's the important edge that one can get.
All right, guys. I think what we did in the last 35 odd minutes or so.
One more question, Abhi.
Sure.
Important one. You asked about salary,
and I think everybody wants to know about it.
Well, like in most industries, person with a good skill and ability gets paid higher. The scale goes anywhere from 25,000 to 1.5 lakhs. There are students who have joined companies at about a lakh as well, if they have shown the capabilities. So I think as one grows, salaries will take care of itself. I think it is important at this stage, at least, for you to choose the right career path in the initial few years. Salaries will take care of itself. Let me assure you that over a period of time, the salary levels for the skill and the ability that we present will be comparable to any other industry that you would choose to be in.
Yes, I think that was an important point that we had to cover on salaries, and it is the scope of growth definitely is higher, but it's important that when you are planning this, in my experience of education for so long, youngsters tend to focus today, or even perhaps the way the sometimes the education programs are marketed or structured, but something that I think it's important here, that you should not give importance to salary to begin with. Your focus should be on learning knowledge, learning skills, becoming that skillful master that anybody would like to recruit. I think that is something you should give precedence to. Money is important, salary is important, growth is important. All of us want to go for a holiday and buy that dream car. However, I think if you look at some of the most successful people, not only in sports, across, they have invested in themselves, in their own development, and eventually, obviously, they could draw money.
And first few years can be used to make sure that you are choosing the right path. And obviously, one cannot expect that a student would have nailed it what their interest levels are. But internships and the first few jobs could be help you to understand where you really love working.
Excellent. So, guys, I think we covered what the industry is, larger parts of the industry, right from leagues to grassroots level sports, to sports retail, to technology, esports, fantasy. There's a whole sports goods and equipment. So there's a whole gamut of sector that is growing. And with that, a lot of opportunities are coming into sales, operations, events, marketing, technology, analytics, etc. Depending on your interest. And then we went on, I think, to let you know about the gig nature and the freelancing nature. Hence, the importance of the core knowledge and skills that you should build. So I think
one more point that I would like to add here, Abhijit. We spoke about how the industry is growing and how in the next 15-20 years there is a phenomenal amount of opportunities that are going to grow. Yes, jobs will increase, but also there will be phenomenal amount of problems that needs to get solved, and that's where the entrepreneur comes in play. And there will be a lot of problems to be solved, a lot of opportunities to be addressed. And given the nature of the fragmented industry that sports is, the opportunity to create your own small startups is again great. Any program that encourages entrepreneurship
be it
should
your
be something.
own fan engagement website, be it your own YouTube channel talking about things. Other day I was in a conversation with somebody, and there is a student in Pune. What he does is he makes memes on sports celebrity.
Yeah,
and he has a Facebook following of his own.
Yes. So therefore, if you have a dream to have your own startup in sports, this is a great time to be in India. And I can assure you that there are many opportunities coming your way if you are an aspiring entrepreneur.
Excellent. I think we are in an era of startups. Even the government of India right now is focusing huge on the startup, startup industry, because the employment, next level of employment generation probably is the startups have the potential to do that, and sports certainly, right, as we said, from 0.1% of the GDP has the potential to get to 3% to 5% of GDP.